first and foremost, man has a spirit. Man was created and given a spirit, and that spirit is pure. But when you start engaging with all these diviners, they stain your spirit, they spoil it, they abuse it. It's like when a child is damaged or when a teenager is abused. So they abuse your spirit, they spoil it. It won't be able to think properly, it won't be able to receive from God.
Oh, okay, thank you. So we're not going to repeat what they're saying. So good, now that we understand what it means for your spirit to be defiled. So there's something I read one day, right? And should I just keep on and then you formalize it? Okay, there's something I read one day, and when I read it in the Bible, I kept asking God, what is it that Adam and Eve would have experienced that would have caused them not to want to be connected again or not to want to obey the instructions of God?
Bí mo ṣe ń ka Bíbélì ni mo ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ ara mi pé kí ni ànábìwá Adam àti ìyàwó ẹ̀ kí ni wọ́n lè ṣe tó máa di pé Ọlọ́run máa fi já wọn kúrò.
Kí ni wọ́n lè gbọ́?
Kí ni wọ́n lè gbọ́ tí Ọlọ́run máa fi já wọn kúrò nínú.
So they cut God off.
Tí wọ́n fi lè já Ọlọ́run kúrò. Tí wọ́n fi gbàgbé Ọlọ́run.
Zai duba ya duba gina kan wanda ya karanta wani a cikin tafi abinda ya sa da Allah ya cire su a kan kasan shi wannan shi kuma da ya hada su kuma tare yanzu kuma.
Okay, so now I'm trying to make sure that the things that I'm teaching are in line with everything that our Sheikh has said. Now, you know, he mentioned about them eating a tree, right? But the Bible said it was a tree, but also told us that it was a tree of knowledge.
Mo gbìyànjú láti jẹ́ pé nǹkan tí mo ń sọ ó ń já sí nǹkan tí Sheikh wa náà sọ. Ìgbà tí Bíbélì wa sọ fún wa pé wọ́n jẹ nínú èso ìmọ̀.
Kuma zai duba kan farko wanda ya yi magana game da ajinan ya nuna akwai spirit na ilimi.
Praise God. And in that revelation in the Bible, it also said that the tree that it ate of made them similar to God. It made them look wise. Now, I want us to think about the questions I asked you before, which is, what is a divination spirit? There are divination spirits. I'm going to give you a quick example. There's one in the Bible that talked about a divination spirit, and that spirit helped a master to make a lot of gain, because he was foretelling the numbers that was going to come up, some certain activities. So that spirit caused the master to make a lot of gain. So that's a divination spirit, right? Something that's foretelling something. Then there's another example of another spirit, and this spirit was able to tell, it was a necromancer spirit, and he told the king that this is what's going to happen to you when you go to war. You're going to be killed, right? Can you please help me with the definition of a wizard? Wizard, and when you check it, do it wizard from the Hebrew understanding, not English, because English understanding sometimes is limited. So when I ask the question, what is it that would make a man cut off from God and choose to go after this kind of knowledge? It's because to them, that knowledge seems wiser than God. I know what's going to happen tomorrow. I know what's going to happen here. Forgetting that it is God that controls our life. So when it says, do not patronize witches or wizards, lest it defiles your spirit, meaning there's an effect that comes upon you that affects your understanding with God, because you have decided to go and step somewhere because you want to know what tomorrow holds. When in reality, if you're still connected with God, God has the ability to show you and deposit inside of you what your tomorrow holds. I want to laugh a bit. The other day, please, try not to be offended if you practice this thing. The other day, I was sitting there and I was having a conversation with my heart. And I asked, as I am now, and the knowledge that I have now, if I die now, how can somebody in the future ask me a question and I will know the answer for him or her? Do you understand what I'm saying? There are people that go and ask dead spirits for information. When the dead spirit was alive, it couldn't do nothing for itself. And now you, in the future, when things have evolved and changed, you want to go and consult a necromancer to tell you how to handle a future when that necromancer couldn't even handle his own present. Let's be realistic. Those things are demonic. Because if it was true that we can have that level of communication with the dead, our uncles, aunties will be able to hear them. So those things are demons deceiving people that they're giving them information from, etc. Now you know the Sheikh also said that these spirits live longer than us because they're demonic spirits in operation. So yes, they'll be privy to some past information, but that past information cannot help you with your future because we still have a God that determines the outcome of everything. And one of the things that God said is that do not patronize these people lest they will defile your spirit. They will affect the way you reason and think with Him. Right? Because when you patronize this thing, you get moved. Now, I read my Bible and I also read the Quran. I think the first one I actually read was Quran. Like I took my time to go through the Quran when I was being taught how to do the Muslim prayers. This is while I was in New York. But I only learned it for one reason, so I can be able to pray and understand the stories that were given me. Then I read my Bible and I was in a cell in New York, in a cell, box. That time, they couldn't put me in the same position as the regular people, but they thought I was too violent. So they put me in a box. And I can never forget it. Every day I read one page. In fact, this is exactly the type of Bible. I ate this book. Every page I read, I chewed it and I threw it on my cell wall. I read it, had no meaning to me. I was just reading it because I was inside of the box. No meaning. Now, when I had an encounter with God, everything changed. Both the understanding of what I know in the Quran and the understanding of what I know in the Bible. Because it's His Spirit that brought everything in these things to life for me to understand them at an in-depth level. Now, the good thing about some certain experiences is that if you don't have certain experiences in life, it is hard for you to guide or direct the next person. So in this life that we're in, there's some certain people, especially if you're blind. Let's use the word blind. Blind meaning if you don't understand the power that is yours. Like you don't understand the gift that God has given you. And you're looking for help. And instead of you to trust in the gift that God has given you, you decide that you want to go and meet, out of desperation, a necromancer, a diviner, or a wizard. Please, the definition of wizard.
Okay, the dictionary meaning is a sorcerer or magician. Then from the Hebrew...
Sorry, the definition of wizard means a sorcerer or magician.
Yes. Then from the Hebrew or Bible perspective, they are usually associated with some pagan ruler or misled king.
And they're also associated with pagan rulers or misled kings. Sorry.
Who seek aid for interpreting dreams.
Who seeks aids for interpreting dreams? Sorry. Can you repeat the things I've said? That long, sorry.
She just said
Wait.